We'll go scroll back. Let's see who we got. Lily was first. Stanifer, Megan, Brian, Beckham, Bennett. We get how many mics we get? We already got 3 of the 4. B Panel, C Panel, still in makeup. Yeah, that's where I was. Okay. We got most of the Ashholes have made their way back in. Right on, right on. I wish we had individual filters that could draw faces on him that others would see. That'd be fun. Yes, but what would you do? Like, I've already got all the people are leaving. Bye, everybody. Who I was at like 13 people. All of a sudden, I'm at like 6 or 7 people. Like, oh, this guy? Oh, I don't. Yeah. David Buffington's back. Scott Lenson's back. Right on. Okay, so we got the regular peeps back again. Switching things up tonight. I'll explain shortly why we're switching things up. Sometimes you got to change directions unexpectedly for reasons. I did, in fact. Oh, I didn't get a Chuck. I got the Jaws. I was all set. I was all set to do what we were supposed to do. Show you. Well, I didn't get the Jaws that I was trying to get because he didn't have any. He didn't have any of the number 3 Jaws for the Talon, but he did have his own old set of number 3 Tower Jaws, and he doesn't have a Talon Chuck anymore. So he was like, I don't know why I still have these. You can just buy these off me if you want. So I did that, and he's got more number 3s coming in. But these will work. They're just not what I went for. And I was all set to do finish up the bowl thing tonight. Should we just go into why? I'm only going to explain this once. Because I'm not even sure I'm going to make it through the first time. I'm definitely not going to be able to keep saying it. So if people come late, if you want me to tell you why we're doing what we're doing, then I'll do that. But then you guys have to explain to people that come in late and ask, because I'm not going to be able to say it over and over again. First of all, I need some more thumbs. Let's get that out of the way. No beer yet because we're working with serious machines, I guess, for lack of a better term, tonight. I'll have some beer in a little bit. But we're doing some milling because I have to make a box. It came up suddenly. Building up to it. Leave me alone. Got a phone call. Well, got a Facebook call from the lady whose gallery I show stuff at in town. And she says to me, hold on. So she says to me, I had this nice couple came in, and they need somebody to make them a really nice box for the plaster castings that they did of their baby's hands and feet. And I said, yeah, I can do that. I've got a thing that I'm in the middle of. I've got some other stuff like in the pipe, but yeah, like, and she's like, it needs to be really nice. So I thought of you. And I said, I've got some other things going on, but like for sure. And she says, well, they need it for his wake on the 1st of August. So I'm not going to tell other people how to run their shops. But I drop everything and do that next. When that question comes in. So tonight, we're going to mill up some walnut. I found the nicest piece of walnut I had on the shelf that I could get all of the box parts out of. And we're going to start a box. We'll see how much it's either going to be a short show or a long show, because we're either just going to mill everything 4 square and let it sit overnight so that it can move if it's going to move, and then I can do a second milling. Or we're going to mill everything 4 square, and then I'm going to miter the corners and cut some grooves and cut some panels and glue up a box. Depending on where we're at. Oh, thank you, Pinot. I don't care what anybody. I used to say that to people all the time. I don't care what anybody says about you. You're okay. So let's. Maybe I should have a beer. It's only 1 beer before we fire up a jointer. I'm okay. I'm all right. Sometimes you gotta swivel. We'll see let's check the turning stuff obviously on its side, but it's all glued up and I just need drawers. I don't know if I'm going to do doors for it yet or not, because I kind of want to have it open. Because, I mean, do I really want to be opening and closing doors every time I, like, reach for a tool if I'm at the lathe? So I might leave the doors off it for now. Just do the drawers. And then I just need the little slots to put the tools in, and it's hang it up and it's good after finish. But... oh yeah, sure. Custom creations. I changed my mind. The doors will keep the shaving. See, that's the thing, is it is going to be right in the line of fire of the shavings. But I don't know. We'll see how. But if I'm going to hang it, and then if it gets filled with shavings all the time, then I'll make drawers for it. It's not that big a deal. I want to get it done and up on the wall so I get my tools up. That's the priority number 1. And I mean, if I have 2 pieces of shop furniture that don't have doors and drawers in them yet. Oh, Matthias has plans for doors. Right on. Think about putting a shower curtain around your lathe. I have seen that done with like little retractable sort of track around lathe areas. I've seen people do that. But tonight we're going to fire up the machines. We're going to not the first test of the new planer, because the planer milled all of those boards. But that's Douglas fir. This is walnut. So this is the first actual hardwood that's going to be going through the new planer. We're going to answer any questions that anybody has about my milling process. I'm not going to claim that it's the right milling process or anything. It's just how I mill boards. Can I make a good announcement? Yes, you can announce the thing that I saw you announce over on another platform if you like, Paul. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Let's let Paul make his announcement, and we'll all clap, and then we'll mill up some wood. He's typing. Or he hasn't heard me say that yet because of the delay. I don't know. Oh! I also got hickory sticks. because people were confused about what hickory sticks are. So I got some. Show you guys. But I'm not going to eat very many of them because I don't really like them very much. Paul is making a guitar for a YouTuber who has 750,000 subscribers. And he's gonna quit it. He's gonna be able to quit his job and just go full time on guitar making if that goes well, I think. So hickory sticks are not good. They're like little shredded chips. And they're kind of hard to eat because they crumble out of your fingers because they're hard to hold. And they taste like smoked wood. So I don't really understand why Canadians invented this, because we don't have hickory here. Hickory doesn't grow here. And they're just like little shredded. I don't know. And they just like taste like, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna put them away because they're not very good. I mean, they're okay. They're a little bit salty, a little bit smoky, but the only scary part is my future rests in the hands of a Canadian. Oh, I didn't know he was a Canadian. I'm gonna call him because all Canadians have each other's phone numbers. I'm gonna be like, tell everybody it sucks. No. They're so good. What are you talking about? Well, maybe you can have them, Mike. They're just like smoky, like salty smoky. See, that's the thing. Is because he's Canadian, even if he hates it and thinks it's terrible, he's probably going to be like, it was a really good effort. Like, good work, Paul. Because we're just super nice. Unless he's one, I mean, we're not, it's an overgeneralization. We're not all super nice. There's a bunch of jerks here. There's jerks everywhere. He will be polite as he tells you it sucks. That's true. If he does actually say, like, this is a terrible guitar, he'll be super nice about it. Let's mill some box parts. We'll talk about the box itself. And we'll talk about what it needs to be. I send the jerks to you guys. You guys send some jerks up here too. I put these chuck jaws away because I don't need them. I think maybe I want to I just do the milling and let the wood rest overnight and then do a second milling. That's how I generally like to do things. But I was thinking if I could get this whole thing crushed out tonight. I need to get it to my friend Nadia by midweek so that she can do some padding and lining and things on the inside before next weekend. But I've still got a couple of days if I need to let things rest overnight. We'll see. We'll see how smoothly things go here. I have a 13-inch wide board of rough sawn walnut. Look at, I've never seen, I don't know how they milled this. Some kind of circular saw situation that they've milled this with. It was definitely not a bandsaw mill. No, it's not going to be flocking. It's going to be like a satin, like padding thing. But thankfully, this side is actually super nice. So I could almost skip a couple of the stages of milling, but I'm not going to because I want to show you guys the whole process. So this side is super nice. This side is super rough. And I need 21 inch inside dimension by 11 inch inside dimension. It's 21 by 11, 6 inches deep. So I've got a 13-inch board. I'm going to go right down the middle. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to do side, side, end, so that I can save as much of this as I can. What's the difference between black walnut and regular walnut? I think just it's a slightly different species. This is Claro walnut, generally known as black walnut. I don't actually know what the difference is. It could just be a thing that people just say different. I bet Google would know. Maybe Pinnell wants to look it up. So we need 21 inside by 11 inside. These box parts are going to be at least 3/4 of an inch. I am not Google. So that means we have to add 1.5 inches at least. So we're going to go 20, what did I say? 21. We're going to go 22.5 by 12.5. I'm going to add a little bit to each of those for rough milling purposes. Leave everything a little bit long. Math, 22.5, so let's call it 24, 25 plus 13, 14-ish. That's 39. That'll give us enough. So we'll come down here to 39. And I'm using the nice section of the wood. I'll show you guys in a second. This end has a big, whatever, limb coming through and some squirrely grain and stuff. So that's going to be really cool to keep for later. This end is all super nice, straight, clear grain stuff. That, well, it will not grain match all the way around the box. It will be a much closer, it's going to be a cohesive box because it's all coming out of one board. I pulled down all of my walnut looking for one long board that was 6 inches wide that I could get all 4 parts out, or sides out of. I didn't have one, so. But this is going to be good. The cathedral is running right through the middle, basically where I'm going to rip it. So if I do the insides off that cut as the bottom of the box on both sides and both ends, it'll look nice. Let's start breaking it down. I got my 39. You guys gonna stay there? Oh, we got a jigsaw for the first rough cut to get it bucked to length. Garage door is open slightly at this point. It needs to be open. I got the planer set up outside. There we go. We're gonna tack the clamp down. A couple of clamps, keep it from moving. Grab my goggles. Because jigsaws can throw some stuff. One rough cut to get started. Loud noises. And then this, I can put back up on the shelf, and that's gonna make a rad something at some point. Now we've got 39 inches of nice clear walnut. I should also mention that you do want to check that you're starting with an end that doesn't have a bunch of, like, sometimes you can get some checking on the end, and you want to measure extra long on the end as well if that's the case, because you're going to want to cut that stuff off. Okay, we've got 39 inches of nice clear, really nice piece of walnut. Let's talk about how we're going to do this. I've got an 8-inch jointer, so I have to go this way with it first. And then I'm going to leave these parts long. I'm not going to mill each individual side. I'm going to mill it in 2 halves. Because that way, if I get a little bit of snipe on one end or the other, I'm only cleaning up that little bit instead of it 4 times. So I could, because this board is not as stable as I thought it was. I was going to say this board is super flat, so I could use the table saw, but you don't want to rip a rough board right down the middle on a table saw because you're going to release a bunch of tension and it's going to pinch on the back and it's going to want to come back at you. So we're going to go over to the bandsaw. We're going to rip this thing down the middle after I can just do it on the fence. Sometimes if both edges are a little bit wonky, you would draw your line and just do it freehand. But I've got pretty straight sides that'll run on the fence, and it's consistently 13 all the way down. So I'm just going to set my fence on the bandsaw to what's half? 6.5? Is half a 13? Again, it doesn't have to be exact. We're doing everything oversized anyway. I need 6-inch box parts, so if I go to 6.5 right now, it gives me a 1/2 inch to mill off later. And unfortunately, because of my shop situation, I don't have 39 inches behind my bandsaw. Now I do. Wait, do I? Or am I gonna hit you guys? I might hit you guys. Might go under you guys. Yeah, okay. Also, the sound, I'm gonna do a sound check. Yeah, sounds good too. And I don't need my bandsaw anymore, or my jigsaw anymore, so I can put that away. Bennett should go over and catch for me. He should, but he won't. And these can go back on. And let's just bust this thing in half. instead of leaving the blade spinning, I put a little piece of pine that I sometimes use as a push stick. And I just kind of do a little cut some little notches in the end of the pine. That way it doesn't take 3 minutes for the damn blade to wind down. And when you walk away from it, you know that it's done spinning. Be done spinning. Thank you. Yes, no, I don't have a foot brake. Yeah, I know. I really want a foot brake because then I don't have to do that anymore. Where are we at? We're at those boards came out of that like that. We're going to mark them. Sides, ends. We don't really have to, but I like to start thinking early. I want, see how it's tighter grain at the top and more cathedraly at the bottom, so I want both sides to be that and both ends to be that. So this is going to be the top. I'm using Walnut, so I'm not going to use a pencil. I'm going to use an acrylic paint marker in silver so that I can see. This is going to be top, so I'm going to mark an arrow there, like that's the top. That's the top. This is going to be the outside of both one side and one end. And then that means that this, flip it around, same thing over here. Arrow to the top, O for outside. These are great. Get some of these. Acrylic paint marker. For dark woods, so you can see your marks. Let's go outside. Was that the Subaru? Oh yeah. If we hear the Subaru, I might actually be able to flip you guys around and show it to you. Oh, it's hot. So we marked, I can't see the screen, outside and top, outside and top. We didn't, however, mark sides and ends. Hold on. That's the outside of the side. That's the outside of the end. Oh, I can't really see the screen. It's too bright. We're going to do the rougher of the two faces down on the jointer. And then we're going to go over the planer, do the opposite face. Then we're going to come back to the jointer and do one edge. Then we're going to go over to the table saw and do the other edge. Yeah. You guys want to actually be a little bit higher here? I have asked my friend Chris Pinnell to keep track of any questions that you guys have, so I don't have to actually see them as I'm going along. He's going to report them to me when I get a chance to sit down. So ask questions, I will answer them if he does what he is supposed to do. I got a push paddle that has a little notchy bit on the back. These things that come with jointers are garbage. You should just throw them out. I don't know why I haven't, but I do not use them. As soon as they get a little dust on them, they don't grip at all, and they're only good for down pressure, which is probably why I keep them, because they are good for down pressure. So, like, I'll show you. I've got this set at a 32nd of an inch right now. We'll see how that works. Safety glasses. Loud noises. So I don't know if that was obvious or clear to you. That was not cutting, and then it was, and then it was not again. So we got some not cutting, we got some cutting, and we got some not cutting. Let's do her again. Cut for a little bit longer. So we're going from about here now to about here now. Next one I would say we'll probably get to about there. We actually didn't get this all the way flat, all the way to the end, but that's enough of a reference surface for once it goes through the planer that'll register clean. We won't have to worry about it. We got the rest of it. I'm gonna crank this down a little bit because I don't really like making whatever that was, 6 passes. We'll go down to a 16th. Do this one. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, 2 is better. Okay, let's take a sit. He needs a dust collection system. He's got a dust collection system. He doesn't have enough power to run the dust collection system and the tools at the same time. So what he needs is an electrician. Really, are you guys gonna safety police me? Because that's not a thing that I need. I know. We all know what I should be doing. I should be running dust collector and wearing a respirator. Yes, these are true things. Should be drinking coffee. That I can do. I'm much better at eye protection than you. I am pretty good at eye protection, and I'm normally pretty good at hearing protection as well. But I don't want to have to keep taking either my earbuds or my headphones off over and over again to talk to you guys. So we now have one flat surface on both of these things. Question relay. Mike, 1 out of 4, wanted to know, does black walnut have a real light colored sapwood? Yes, it absolutely does. There's a huge definitive line between the heartwood and the sapwood on walnut. Some people like that and use it as accents and things. And if you plan out things well, you can make really good use of it. But most people prefer just the dark chocolatey brown, and they cut that stuff away. I'm kind of half and half. I can use it if there's enough of it that I can plan it so that it's in a good place where it complements things. But if there's not enough of it to be able to do that, then I'll just cut it away. Q-Tech or Wahuda jointers like his. Yeah, I think that my King Industrial jointer is exactly the same as both the Q-Tech and the Wahuda and possibly the Rikon and possibly the Craftex, all coming out of the same factory. Eight-inch Q-Tech helical jointed, so it's probably this one. Because $500, I paid $750 Canadian, which probably means that it was about that American-ish. Thought it was odd that the sapwood on my bowl darkened up like they did. It is a little bit. Sapwood generally doesn't darken. It usually brightens. What we should be doing and what we are doing is all very different. I should be happy and motivated and making stuff. Instead, I'm sitting in bed at 11:15 watching YouTube. Should Wahuda stole Q-Tech website legal? Yeah, I know there is some kind of issue there. I don't know, because I think Q-Tech commented on my video that said, I think this is the same planer. And they said something like, we are not the same company as Wahuda, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, well, nobody's explained anything to anybody, so of course people are going to not know what's going on. I think we're only going to do the milling tonight. I was hoping that we might be crushing this out fast enough that I could actually get box parts cut. But if you cut miters, if you start cutting joinery, you need to get that crap put together so that the joinery then keeps it from moving. So I either have to leave it to move overnight, or I have to get the joinery cut and get it all glued up. And I think the safer option is just to mill it and leave it overnight. And just in case it does want to move a little bit, I can do a second milling tomorrow, cut joinery, get it glued up. It only puts me a few hours behind in the process. I can still probably get done by Tuesday. Get it to her by Wednesday so she can do what she needs to do. Oh, nice little breeze. Thank you. Nice little breeze. I don't want to rush on this project. You're right. I just want to get these boards four-squared, get them stickered on my bench, and then sit down and enjoy a couple of bevies with you guys. $50 off and an extra set of cutters. Yeah, I wish I got an extra set of cutters when I got mine. I still haven't turned mine, but I do think there's a nick in one of them, and I am going to have to turn at least a couple of them soon. But I'm a year and a half in, I think, to this jointer, and I haven't turned them yet. What kind of joinery am I planning? I am just going to do a mitered box with contrasting splines. It is going to be black walnut and red oak. Red oak for the top and bottom panels, and then red oak splines in the corners. Just because time constraints. And I like the look of it. Some people don't like the look of like contrasting splines in mitered boxes. I really do. Especially when they contrast and then complement another part of the box. So the top and bottom are going to be red oak, and the splines are going to be red oak. I think that's going to look pretty sexy. I missed it. What am I making this box for? Somebody tell Mike Bennett why I'm making this box. And we'll go to the planer. I'm not going to tell you why I'm making this box because I barely got through it the first time, Mike. Let's go the opposite. So the side I just jointed is going to be going down on the bed of the planer. Is that a decent enough? That'll do, yeah, I think. I can't really see the screen. I hope that's okay. It's another power problem with the shop is that many of my things run on this extension cord. So I have to unplug and replug. Technically, we should look. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. Here, let's talk about it in here where I can see what I'm talking about. So, you want the board to be going into the planer. The grain is going this way on the side of this board. So I want the head, the planer head, to be coming in this way, so that it's not coming this way and trying to rip those up. So I want, hold on, is this even the top? Yeah, this is the top. So I want the planer head spinning this way. So I want to feed this through this way. So the, hold on, am I even? Nope, backwards. Nope, yeah, that's right. Hopefully that made sense. I'm going, grain's coming this way, planer goes that way. Grain's going this way, so I want the planer going this way. Loud noises. How are you guys doing for view there? Yeah, that's okay. So now we're flat and parallel and coplanar. And I'm going to flip them back over and do the jointed side again, because I took more off the outside than I did on the underside, if that makes sense. And I want to remove material evenly on both sides to give it the best chance that it's going to release moisture evenly. So I'm just going to do one quick pass down about a quarter turn, flip them over, go through the other way. Make sure. I do have a helical head, so it doesn't matter as much, but you still want to do best practice, right? One more. Those are pretty. Those are pretty boards. I don't know if you can see. This is not the result that I would get with my old planer. This is pretty happy with that. So now we are, where are we? We're flat and parallel and coplanar and at 13/16. What is that? No, that's not a number. Yeah, it is. We're at 13/16. So that's pretty thick. That's what she said. And put these over here for a second and have a think on what I want to do. I want to leave those as it's true. Paul's got a point. Now I need to joint one side and then take it to the table saw. But do I want to do that right now? Yes, I do. But if it moves, I have to do it again tomorrow. But I should show the process. Some people go jointer, jointer face, jointer edge over the planer. I go jointer face, planer, jointer edge, because that way I've got both faces flat and coplanar, and then I can decide which direction I want to put the board through on edge through the jointer based on the grain direction. let's do that and then we'll be done. We'll do the edge jointing. I'll do the table saw. And then, because I've got enough to play with. I got 6.5 and I only need 6. Let's joint one edge, table saw the opposite edge, and then we've got, and then we're 4 square. And then I can sticker them overnight, do a final milling tomorrow morning before I cut joinery and get this box assembled. Edge jointing, same concept. We're going to try and figure out, it's a little harder on the edges. We've got a cathedral. Okay, we've got a cathedral that ends right here. On the opposite side of that board, that same cathedral ends down here. So that means this grain goes that way. So that means this board wants to go through the jointer this way. So I'm just gonna put it on the bed of the jointer, blind myself for a second off the reflection of the sun off the jointer. See if I can find a cathedral I can follow here. There. So that wants to go through that way as well. I need to stop looking at the jointer because the sun is like at the perfect angle where it hits the bed of the jointer and comes in my eyeball. Wedge joint. Actually, now I'm getting the reflection off the face of the board. Like, that's a pretty good surface when that board is giving that kind of reflection straight out of the planer. I'm happy with that surface. Let's edge joint it. I already forgot which way that grain is going. I'd flip those both this way, I think. If I had more time, I could use one of those pieces of art I have hanging behind me. It's true. And then, in fact, I don't even need to have more time to do that. It would probably take about the same amount of time. Well, depending on how heavy I set the jointer. It's set at a 16th right now, so yeah, probably. I'll probably get one pass. I could do one by hand just to show. No, I don't want to. It's hot. It's exactly the same principle. I would clamp it in my leg vise, figure out the grain direction, go with the grain, and flatten one edge. But let's just do it on the jointer. 16 degrees here tonight. Yeah. We're right at the hot part of the day with the sun on this side of the house. This way. Nope. Because I'm going to do the edge that I bandsawed. So, see the grain is coming down this way. So I want to be having the head go this way. And I'm going to do the side that I bandsawed because it's not as rough as the side that was rough sawn. And the glasses. Loud noises. Easy peasy. Let's get the other side. Now that side can ride against the rip fence. I'm gonna go get my extension cord, plug my table saw in. I'm just gonna square up the other side and we're gonna be done for tonight. Just taking off just a little bit, enough to get it square. I'm going to do it again, just in case it came away from the table a little bit, or the fence. Here we go. We are 4 square. On these pieces of walnut. Oh, come here. Now we have 2 faces that are parallel, coplanar, and flat. We have 2 edges that are parallel, coplanar, and flat. And now I'm gonna, well, let's show you how I sticker them. Basically, and I take, what do I have? A couple random pieces of wood. There we go. I'm gonna take a cut off from the cabinet. I'm going to pop up the crosscut sled. And those are 6.5 wide, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to cut a few of these. Thank you. The reason I did 6, because I want the air to flow evenly all the way around both of these boards. So I'm going to go like that. I want them to stay flat, hopefully. So I'm going to start on a flat surface, like my table saw. I'm going to put 2 more over those ones. And then I'm going to put 2 more over those ones. Like that. So that there's even weight and airflow happening around those boards overnight. I don't think they're going to move. They were super stable. They've been in my shop for over a year, so they're certainly acclimatized. Do I have to mill the red oak? The red oak, the top and bottom panel is red oak ply, and the splines, you're right, I should mill. Now that I've got the planer out anyway, I should mill the splines. But I just stickered my boards, and they're in the way of the table saw that I'm going to want to use to cut the kerf to do the tests for the spline stock. Thanks, David Buffington. Now I want to move all of that. Future Mike can mill them, that's true. No, I want to do it now. We're just going to This is my only flat top grind blade, so it is going to be the one that I use the spline to make the spline channels. So I'm going to grab a scrap of walnut because I want to use, ideally, I want to use the same kind of wood that I'm going to be putting the splines into. So the compression is the same. I want to use the same face of the wood, so my box side, my splines are going to be going in that way. So I want to cut my spline channel that way for my test. I'm going to get my eye protection on. I'm just going to cut one fake spline groove. And that is going to be the width of my splines. So now I can mill some oak to that spline thickness. This planer says in the manual that it can plane down to 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to find out. Just using the hobby oak, the 1/4 inch hobby oak that I get all the time at the big box store to make tenon stock. I'm just going to rip a little strip. I'll be back. Got my little strip of spline material, 1/4 inch oak. We're gonna see if we can get it down in that planer to fit into this curve. I don't know if you guys are seeing this at all. I can't see that screen whatsoever. No idea. Everybody's leaving and I can't tell. Let's see, Rycon, you say you can go down to an 1/8. Let's find out. If you remember, if you watched the planer unboxing, there's a turret stop in here. And I was actually at the 1/4 inch setting. You're never going to be able to see that. So I'm going to flip it to the 1/8 inch setting because I bottomed it out. We're going to keep going. See if this thing can go down to 1/8 of an inch. Planer can go down to 1/8 of an inch if that's what my saw kerf is. Wow. Move my stack back over here. Woo! That's neat. I would never have dared. I would never have dared to go down to 1/8 of an inch with my little planer. Yep. There's my spline stock. Fits a spline channel perfectly. Thanks, David Buffington. Now at least that part is done for tomorrow as well. Let me get our paper towel. I need a mop. I'm going to close the door and I'm going to put the fan on. Woo! Check it with calipers for accuracy. My calipers don't have a battery in them. I only have electric calipers. So, no, I can't do that. Oh. But it doesn't matter if it's exactly 1/8, as long as it's exactly my spline depth or width. Did I bring my planer in before I shut the door? No, I did not. There's one person watching this show who lives here in this community, who knows where I live, and he can't drive right now to come get it. Woo! We're foursquare at 13/16. So tomorrow, even if it moves, I'm going to be 7/8 final dimension. My spline stock is cut, so I can just final width and cut the miters and the bottom and top slots, get that panel cut, get it glued up, cut the splines, put the splines in, cut the top off. Yeah, okay, Paul's worried about the thieving neighbors. I gotta bring my planer in. It's gonna take a minute because I gotta take the dust shroud thing off so I can fold the tables up so that I can put it in here. So just hold on. I'm gonna do a quick vacuum too. Bear with. Ah, damn it. Cord doesn't go that far. And now plug the shop vac into that extension cord too. Oh, and I got it cranked. Okay, the planer's in, Paul. Can I leave my table outside? Are you worried about my table, or? This guy gets upset walking away to vacuum. Shut up, Jax. I didn't want to. Paul wanted me to bring my planer in. I feel like flipping you guys around again. Woo! Okay. So, milling on the box. Stage 1 done. And when I finish this beer, I'm going to go right over here in my shop and get another one. In fact, this one's warm, so I'm going to do that right now. Come with! Check this out. There's my little beer fridge right here in my shop. And here's a beer. In my one-car garage shop. Yeah. I love on your last live stream how you mentioned a shop fridge and everybody was immediately like, yeah, hey, why doesn't he have a shop fridge? Then they bugged you about the shop fridge for like an hour, on and off. Oh, that's enough work for one day. I mean, I only milled 2 boards, but there's a demonstration too, like I was explaining what was going on. Does anybody have any questions about my milling process, or how they do things differently and it also works? Because, like I said at the beginning, there's no one way to mill boards 4 square. I do joint face, playing the opposite face, so that I can pick which direction I want to edge joint before I take it over the table saw. But that's not to say that there aren't other ways to do that. I probably didn't even have to face joint that first face tonight. I could have just done the flat face on the bed of the planer. I'm sorry, thicknesser, for my Australian friends. But I wanted to show the whole process, so. And is that fan as loud for you guys as it is for me? Because I feel like I'm yelling. Chris, were there any more questions that came up during the process that you recorded for me? Questions about today? No. How are you going to cut the miters? I'll show you how I'm going to cut the miters. I'm just not going to cut them. For my table saw, there is a video on my channel where I show how to make this sled. This is my miter crosscut sled. So I'm going to take this throat plate out. I'm going to replace it with this one. I'm going to tilt that to 45 degrees using my digital angle finder. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to find 0. That's 0.8, so that's not 0. I'm going to 0 it out. I'm going to tilt the blade to 45 and find out if I'm right by attaching this to the side of it. I'll put this back on. And then I'm going to put my boards in here and I'm just going to and it's going to cut my miters for me. Perfectly at 90 degrees this way with a perfect 45 that way. Oh. Sorry. Have to look for that. Yeah, no, definitely a good jig. Didn't take me very long to make it. And oh, God, stupid. I'm falling and I can't get up. Yeah. It was a valuable jig to make. Didn't take very long. It's the same construction as any crosscut sled. You just do your blade at 45 when you cut your kerf. And I use it a fair bit. Shooting board. The shooting board works. Have I got Da Vinci yet? No, I do not have Da Vinci yet. You bug me about DaVinci, I'll bug you about your shop fridge. And then, how about we'll have a race? We'll have a race. Your shop fridge versus my download DaVinci. Use a sheet of ply screwed to a slide last time. I don't know what that means. What kind of slide? I mean, you could do it just with a miter gauge and tilting it. I just made a sled because when I needed it, I was batching out like, what did I do? 12 miter boxes for a market, and it was just, I just set a stop block on that sled. I just bang, 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 and all my box parts came out. Glue them all up. What is DaVinci? Yeah, it's a video editing software that I'm going to move to eventually. And Jax is bugging me about it because he doesn't think that my videos are worth watching because I use iMovie to make them. That's not what he said. He's a very nice man. That's fantastic. My planer is actually a little bit loose. I actually got a little bit thinner than the kerf of my table saw blade using my planer. But it'll expand a little bit when I put glue on it anyway, so that's still fine. But my planer goes down to less than 1/8 of an inch, or less than the kerf of my table saw blade, and leaves me still with that finish straight out of the planer. Sorry, thicknesser. I'm a fan of that unit. At least you use a Mac. Friends don't let friends use Microsoft. Yeah, I've given you a bad rap here. No, well, and man, does he need a haircut. And you need to work on that beard a little bit too. You got a little ways to go on the beard, and you should probably cut your hair. This is only funny to me and Chili, and maybe Jax. Because if you guys don't follow JND Creations, go do that. His videos are better than mine because he uses DaVinci Resolve. And he's got a bunch of really great projects. He's a better turner than I am. But I make nicer furniture. Oh, that's funny. Obviously not talking about you. Oh, this is a fun show. Any more questions, comments, concerns? It's not a planer or a thicknesser. It's a more thinnizer. I like that. Yeah, I mean, you don't thickness things with it. You thinness them. You can't thickness a board, because that would involve putting wood onto a board. Why would they call it a thicknesser? I guess you're changing the thickness, but you're actually changing the thinness. You do alter the thickness. I haven't had a haircut since 2003. Nice. Just a trim. Oh, you thin the thickness. There you go. We should call it a thickness thinner. I don't know. But just call it a planer. It planes the board down. And these are hand planes. These are not planers. These are hand planes. weird. When some people do call these planers, and that's weird to me, because I assume that they're talking about one of those. Why did you... Hey, an actual woodworking question. Why did you use the bandsaw to rip the boards at the start and not the table saw? Thank you. Actual question that I can answer that might inform somebody of something. Rough sawn boards ripped at a table saw down the middle will tend to, as they release tension, they can pinch the kerf closed at the back of the blade and cause a kickback hazard. They can also, depending on how rough the surface is and whether it's bowed or cupped or whatever, as you make that cut, they can fall into the blade and pinch the blade and cause a kickback hazard. So the bandsaw uses a different physics. It's coming straight up and down through the blade, so it doesn't produce kickback if it pinches, and it's not going to pinch the blade because it's a thinner blade, and etc., etc. Just the physics of the cut is different. It's a safer way to make that initial cut, and that is why I used the bandsaw. I probably could have used the table saw on this particular board because it is super stable, it turns out, and it was really flat on one side. But let's show the right way to do stuff. Matthias would use a hacksaw? No, he wouldn't. Nobody would use a hacksaw to rip a 13-inch board in half down the length of 39 inches. Shut up. Here I was thinking bandsaws are cooler. They are... in some ways they're cooler. Wife still loves the pen. I turned her... Awesome. Thank you. I like making pens. I gotta make another batch of pens here one of these days. Also removes less material with the kerf. That's true. Table saw blade isn't 30-inch in diameter to cut 10 inches. What? That one I don't understand. It does remove less material. That wasn't a big problem on this one because I have an extra ½ inch. But yeah. I just had 2 inches. Oh, we're talking about haircuts. I just had 2 inches cut off my hair. May go all the way next time. Table saw don't have one of those riving knives, or still possible issues with one. I don't have a riving knife on my table saw because I took it off when I bought it because the riving knife on my piece of garbage last table saw made it more dangerous than having it on because it was a piece of garbage and it would get caught on the wood. Like you couldn't dial it in well enough and it wouldn't stay sturdy enough that it didn't sometimes catch on the wood going through it. So I said, well, riving knives are shit. Why would I use this thing? It's more dangerous with it. So when I bought this table saw, I took it off, not realizing that this one was actually good, according to everybody after I'd taken it off. But now I can't put it back on because there's like too much sawdust jammed in the mechanism that it attaches to. And I haven't gotten around to cleaning that out. And I don't even know if I have it still. Like, it may have got thrown out or something. But yeah, if I do still have it, I should put it on. But I do often use a thin kerf blade as well. So there can be problems with it. So there we go. Doffington's got it. I typically use a thin kerf blade, so the riving knife is thicker than the... Yeah, that can be a problem. The guy that won my pen from the North Star photo contest absolutely loved it. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I still gotta send what's his face a bio to put on his website. Damn. Do I ever run 7-inch blades on my table saw? No. Why would I? What? I'm not sure I understand the reasoning behind doing that. Is there a reason I might want to? Because that seems weird. You can, and they're cheaper? Yeah, but I have 10-inch blades. Matthias does. I swear to God, you guys. I guess if I'm ever... Yeah, I could buy some 7-inch blades and put them on. I mean, like... But I don't find table saw blades that expensive for how, like... I mean, I guess if you're going and buying like a $200 forest woodworker 2 or something, but you just sharpen those things like half a dozen times and it makes up the difference. I don't find table saw blades that expensive. The one, that Freud heavy duty rip blade that I've got on there right now, I think was $40. And it'll sharpen 3 times probably. Actually, it might have been 60. But it'll sharpen 3 times. CMT blades, JND says. Is that, I don't know that I know those guys. CMT as in, no, that's DMT. I was going to say the sharpening stones people, but that's DMT. Orange ones. Oh, are those the ones that J. Katz Moses is all about? He did a review on them a little while ago and was like, these are awesome. I haven't tried them. Yeah, okay. I don't know, maybe. I don't know if they have a Canadian retailer or if it's going to cost me an extra $60 to get them here. Sometimes we have that problem here in Canada. Less wobble on smaller blades as well. Okay, that's good to know. I guess the physics of it, the further out it goes, the more... Well, I guess, is your arbor okay? Like, you shouldn't be getting wobble on a table saw blade. This is fun. We're actually talking about woodworking today. Oh, we do have a Lily hypothetical question, though, that I almost forgot about. Sorry, Lily. We got an LHQ, and it's kind of fun. The LHQ for the evening that she sent by Instagram minutes before the show is... What is it? Oh, you have to make a dodgeball team. You're in charge of selecting a dodgeball team made up of food mascots. Who are your 3 choices for your dodgeball team chosen out of food mascots? So it's not going to be Grimace, because he's big and fat and purple and clumsy. Tony the Tiger seems like he would be pretty lithe and nimble. Tyler Peterson's here. 4th place winner from the kit build contest in the Great Guitar Build-Off. Tyler Peterson has showed up for my show. Tony the Tiger is a good one. Oh, the Keebler Elves, they're just little. Good call, Keebler Elves. Trix Rabbit, maybe. He's kind of skinny and pretty quick. The Cheetos Cheetah, yeah, that's a good one. Humphrey B. Bear. You can't just make up Australian food mascots. Somebody's gonna call you on that. Like, that's not a real thing. Yes, congratulations to Tyler and his what's it called? It's not a multi-scale. It's those when you put in like 3 times as many frets as you're supposed to. Microtonal. That's what it's called. A microtonal sort of teleacoustic style Bubinga bass with a spruce top, I think, if I remember. The cow from Laughing Cow Cheese. What? I forgot that we're actually doing that still. Okay, my 3. I think Tony the Tiger is probably pretty quick. Could make it an all-cat team. And Tony the Tiger the cheetah from Cheetos. What's his name? And need another cat food mascot. Kool-Aid Man? I don't think I'd pick the Kool-Aid Man. He'd be a pretty easy target. Chester Cheetah, that's his name. I need another cat, like, food mascot. Because I want to make a team of cats using Tony the Tiger and Chester Cheetah. These cats are pretty quick and nimble. And mean. Garfield? Is he the Garfield? He's probably like the mascot for some lasagna brand, but he's lazy and fat. I don't want him on my dodgeball team. The Whiskas cat? Is that a mascot though? That's just like, I think it's a different cat all the time. In the Morris the cat. Which one's that? Who's he? And what is he? What brand does he rep? Garfield has underrated athleticism? Come on. That's the laziest damn cat ever. Makes the little dog do everything. He just lays there, eats lasagna, and makes Odie go do stuff. And he's not a food mascot. Morris the 9 Lives. 9 Lives, like cat. Is that a cat food? I don't have cats. You know what? I'll take Tony the Tiger, Chester the Cheetah, and any other random cat mascot. And then he can get knocked out, and that's fine, because I still have 2 good ones. Those will be my choices. And then my team's all cats, and that's cool. And I need another new beer. And I'm going to go get it from just over here, underneath my sander. Right here. In my 1-car garage. That I still managed to have room for a beer fridge in. We are going to get this wrapped up here pretty quick, though. Was that glue in the fridge? Yes, that was glue in the fridge. That's Starbond glue. Starbond CA glue, which, in case you need some of that, it's fantastic stuff. There's a discount code and a link down in the description there, where you can pick up some Starbond glue direct from Starbond at a discount and help out the channel. There's also a link to my Patreon page and my Etsy store down there, but my Etsy store doesn't have anything in it right now because I had to take everything down to bring it to a market. Starbond is A+, that is exactly correct. Best CA glue I've ever had. Why do I keep it in the fridge? Because I want to assume that it'll help it last longer after it's open. I don't know this, but I don't think it can be a bad thing. What's the U.S. equivalent of Sleeman's beer? I don't know. This particular Sleeman beer is the original draft. So if I was going to compare it to American beers that I have had, I would say it's like a Miller Genuine Draft, except better, but it's that sort of weight and heft. They say they will last 3 years after open. There's no way it's going to go bad quicker in the fridge. How's that? Let's just say that. I don't think it would ever go bad before I would use it anyway, but there are lots of CA glue brands that recommend that they are stored in the fridge to increase longevity. So I just assume that Starbond will also last longer if you leave it in the fridge. Got walnut dust. Like, because I'm sweating and was planing walnut, it's like embedded in my pores. Ugh. It's also humidity controlled in the fridge, that's true. I don't have any science to back that up. I just assume that it's going to be better for it. Alright, I'm hot and sweaty. We did the LHQ. We did the milling we were going to do. I'm going to get this box done in the next couple of days. Next week, we will get back to that bowl with my new jaws. I just had to take a detour. For reasons. Oh, hey. If you gave me a super chat last week, again, thank you very much. That was amazing. But could you do me a favor and go look at whether you were charged for that super chat last week? Because my account doesn't have anywhere near as much money in it as I was given last week. So I want to know if you guys got charged and I didn't get it because, like, YouTube took a whole chunk, in which case we're going to have to figure out a different way of you guys supporting me here, because they should not be taking half. So either one of the $50 super chats, which again, thank you very, very much, didn't go through, or Google took half of those super chats from last week. YouTube collection payments for copyright infringements. I don't think that's how that works. I didn't have to pay the copyright. They just got to demonetize the video and or take the monetization from that video as the copyright owners of the music. So they can have the 70 cents or whatever that I was going to make on that video. All right, Sean got billed $56.50. So if Beckham also got billed, then Google is taking half of the super chat money, and I have a problem with that. Because according to Google, I made like $64 last week during the show. And it was like two $50 super chats and a $9 something super chat. So if Google's taking half, I'm going to have some words with somebody at Google. No, I'm not. You can never reach a real person at Google. Maybe Beckham didn't get charged, and then only Sean and Chris Pinnell's went through. Chris got charged $804. Sean got billed $56.50. Okay, so those two together add up to how much I got or how much I got given to me, give or take. So hopefully Beckham didn't also get charged. Or else Google took $50 from me last week. And I'm going to have to issue some kind of complaint, because I don't think that they're supposed to be doing that. Like, I can understand them taking a percent as like a transaction fee type situation, but that percent should not be 50. That's rad. They bill you guys the transaction fee? Okay, then I I really hope that Beckham didn't get charged money. Maybe I'll send a little, maybe I'll send a message over to somebody and be like, what's up? Did you say YouTube? I don't know, man. I don't know. No idea. It's irrelevant though, because it is what it is, and that's not why we do this. I am going to bid you adieu. It's been a slice. Another really good show. I have a lot of fun here. I am hot and sweaty, and I need to. What's this with 30%? Okay, maybe. God, that's a lot. Okay, well, maybe I should have Googled that before I started spouting off. Well, YouTube takes a percentage of every. Yeah, Pinnell's quoting something. It says that they take 30%. Wow. Okay. Sweet. That's great. Honorable detour. Yeah. Well, like I said, it's. Yeah, I already said it, so I'm not going to try to do it again. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I will see you next time. Come on back next week, and maybe we'll get back on the lathe. Hopefully we'll get back on the lathe. Oh. It's going to be a nice box. Bye for now. Thanks.